I'm a part of this tonight because my parents are immigrants, and a lot of what inspired me to be an artist was witnessing what they went through and what I witnessed in my community growing up. Just kind of how my family was treated like second-class citizens, and the way that I found my voice was through art. The way that I found my voice as a woman of color, as a first-generation American, as a Latina, was through art. Because for me, it was around presenting and reframing my reality in a way that was very positive and was really trying to fight the disempowering images that I was getting fed every day in the media. Well, I think the arts provides a space where you can engage in critical thinking like no other medium. The arts allows people to feel and to feel inspired, sad, touched. Sometimes they feel educated, sometimes they even feel angry. And so it's through art that we can really touch people and also help people imagine another kind of future. And so with immigration reform, a lot of what we're losing in the immigration movement is we're losing the battle of the frame of who is framing the conversation around what immigrants do, how they come to this country, what they do in this country, how they contribute to this country. We're not winning that whole framing, and so art then becomes a very key way for us to reframe how we want to be seen, all the positives around us. What are our families like? What is our story around being a transnational? What does it mean to be kind of a citizen of the world? Because I think in a really unique way, immigrants bridge together two worlds. For example, my family came from Peru. Peru was affected and like the rest of South America because of US policy. That's why my parents came here. And so they were able to draw those connections and eventually become Americans so that they can then send money back home and be a part of the millions of other immigrants that send so many remittances back home that they are basically sustaining Latin America. They are such an economic force. And so if we can tell that story, the story of migration, of how people change communities and then give back to their community, reshape where they are, and how they become actually a bridge to the global society where we're trying to go, I think we can then change the minds of a lot of people. Graphics arts is really around the image, the power of the image, the power of telling a story in a single image. And corporations have this down. This is why we are bombarded with visual imagery everywhere we go, everywhere we turn. We are looking at a way for us to be visually engaged. And so considering that that's an effective tool, we need that because not only do a lot of our people speak different languages, we have very different cultural understandings. Even the way that people are addressed, I believe that the image can be sometimes much more powerful than words. You need an image to kind of show and to portray a certain feeling, to communicate certain values. And so for me, graphic arts is about how we represent where we're trying to go. Because we can, it's really around, it's just like painting a picture. You can show where it is that you want to go, what it is, how it is that you want to portray a woman. If you consider, for example, that little girls who are immigrants consistently grow up in an environment where they hardly see themselves at all, then you can understand how years of that actually affects young girls' self-esteem. And if we were to change that, and if we were to show empowered, women of color, celebrate the fact that they're first-generation Americans, we can affect an entire generation. We can help people feel better about themselves. And so that's where graphics comes in, is that there's so much power in an image. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a visual artist, is because I was so frustrated with not being able to not seeing myself, that the way that I began to cope with that was by creating who it is that I saw via the image.